have said in the past that I think that the golf course could be maintained for a few decades, but beyond that, and if you'd like, we could talk more about that. I think it's probably unlikely, just physically unlikely, without some major intervention. So I don't think it's about only what we want. I mean, I think the reality is it probably won't be there in 50 years.
And the second part of your question about how far back we're restoring, we're not restoring the system to an antecedent condition. We're modeling this on partly historic conditions and partly reference systems that would fit modern sea level and the modern setting. So you can call this a rehabilitation or a restoration, but it is not a nostalgia tour where you're turning the clock back to an earlier condition. Everything's changed around it. So we're fitting in a model in a different setting. And remember, we are not proposing anything. This is a conceptual plan. We're not advocates for the plan. This is to, I think of it as any future landowner or manager. We're not aiming it at the city. We're not aiming it at any one landowner. We don't know what the future land use is going to be. But if any future landowner, same or future, want to consider a plan, these are conceptual elements that can be adopted. That's the extent of it. We're not proposing.
It's not our decision.
Not a proposal.
Restoration and something else.
I'm sorry?
It's a combination of restoration and something else, because you even talked about moving that creek around, and that's not restoration back to where the creek
It was. This is a channel. That's not the creek.
No, but I mean,
No, I mean you're right. So what we talk about in this practice is when we say restoration, it's often a restoration of processes and habitat, not necessarily a complete restoration of the historic landscape. There's really no way you could really restore the landscape here without taking out Clarendon, part of Clarendon Road and 7-Eleven and et cetera. So
It's an
restoration
adaptation.
is kind of not a very precise word in that sense. And the plan doesn't include a full restoration of the landscape, but it does restore the processes in a way that's resilient and sustainable.